Welcome back to Better Kansas City. In today's world of likes and shares, it's important that your child is gaining self-worth by who they are as a person and not through online validation. Licensed professional counselor Amanda Davis is here from St. Luke's Crittenden Children's Center to talk about how social media is impacting mental health. So what are some of the ways that people who are growing up may be impacted by this?
Well, we don't know for sure yet, just because it's such a new phenomenon. There's not a lot of research out there that's been very conclusive, but what we do know is happening at the same time is that we've had rates of depression increasing in our young people by over 50%.
Wow.
And we really think that social media is playing a part on that, because we hear a lot about the increased stress and pressure on them. And we all know what it's like to be looking at other people's curated lives on social media and comparing it to our actual life.
Right. It's kind of like you can look at someone on their best day and think, you know, why am I not experiencing this? And I think all parents' ears probably perking up at a 50% rise in depression and anxiety. You know, let's talk about that. How does it actually affect our teens?
You know, it can affect them either if they are somebody who's really sensitive to criticism from other people. We know those kids are affected more. We know that kids who have social anxiety are actually much more vulnerable online as well. And then we also know kids who are just more vulnerable to interactions in the real world. So kids who are more vulnerable to bullying already are even more vulnerable online.
Okay, and then how can we actually know kids or know friends both in real life and online?
Yeah, so that's really important. I think one of the things that worries parents is that this seems like a whole new world compared to what we grew up with. And they need to remember that it's really some of the same rules that they'd used in real life online. So know who your kids' friends are. So you need to be friends with them on Facebook. You need to be part of their social media, watching it. You need to know who they're talking to, just like you would want to know the person that they're spending the night at their house.
Okay, and then how can parents actually effectively monitor content? Because what if somebody one of their child's friends doesn't want to accept that friend request?
Yeah, I mean, that's just something that you have to set some ground rules to start with. There's some people that develop like a social media contract, so before they get that first device or they get that first social media account, you really set the ground rules and expectations. But honestly, along with everything else with parenting, the most important thing you can do is model the appropriate behavior yourself.
Okay, and then let's also talk about this. Are there good things that come from social media? Because we've just heard a lot of negative.
Yeah, there can be good things that come from social media. But one of the things that it encourages is people to seek help who wouldn't have sought help otherwise, that maybe they are embarrassed or would not have reached out face-to-face with somebody, but they will ask for help online. The one thing we want to be concerned with that is that for teenagers, usually they do reach out to another teen, and so they do need to know when they need to pull an adult in for help, because obviously we don't want a teen feeling like they're responsible for helping their friend who's having thoughts about hurting themselves or something really serious like that.
Right, and then how do we know when it might be time to talk to someone who could potentially step in?
Yeah, I think it's a good rule of thumb for kids in general. Anytime that you are noticing a change in their function in daily life, so if they aren't able to perform at school like they usually do, if they are not socializing like they usually do, or spending time with the family like they usually do, those are all good points to at least check in with them, with their friends, with their teachers, and see if we need to go ahead and get some professional help.
Is there a certain age where you would recommend this is a good time, maybe either to start talking with someone?
You know, I don't know that there is necessarily a good age. It's going to be really dependent on the kid and what's going on in their life, because certainly the more stressors we've had earlier in life, the earlier that we would want to reach out and talk to somebody.
Okay, and then is there kind of a baseline like 13? I know there's certain movements of people, parents even getting together, signing, saying, I'm pledging to not let my kid go online at this certain age.
Again, I think it's really dependent on the kid, because kids grow and mature at such different levels. There is not a magic age, just kind of like there's not a magic age for anything else, really. You just really have to go based on your kid, their individual maturity level. So that might mean if you have 2 kids, they might get access at different times depending on how they're going to handle it.
Okay, well, that's some really great advice. Thank you so much, Amanda. If you'd like more information or your child would like to speak with a licensed professional, you can call actually St. Luke's KC Center. You can also find care providers at stlukeskc.org.